Hello, and welcome to an SCL casting of Elodin versus Abriel. I am joined today by Feen,
Hello.
Feliburn,
Yo.
and the Master Chief.
Oh. Should we get into this then and preview?
Yes.
These half the team is similar and they're all in like the first three slots. Crocodile, Hudra, and Guard.
Didn't Abriel just use similar structure all of the weeks, or am I mistaken on one of them?
She used week one. She used something similar versus Feli, no? Like, well,
yeah,
again, that was standard-ish.
Okie-dokie Founders.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
slow bro
just clump all the brokens together, you know.
Yeah, the two brokens.
The Volcanian, well, funny enough, both the waters look actually mad threatening. The Basque Legion, because there's, well, Crocodile's the water resist. Oh, actually, Volcanian's the water resist, but still, like,
yeah, Shadow Ball
guessing
hurts
correctly.
a lot.
Shadow Ball's gonna hurt a lot.
Well, it depends
Volcanian's
on what
also.
it depends what Abriel's good reset is, because if Abriel's good reset is not specs and like more bulky, then Abriel has an easier time dealing with the Basque Legion.
Yeah, it depends. Well, the thing is though, Elodin's Gapdos is probably Scarf. Well, and so the Legion, well, if the Legion is Scarf, it's less of an issue, but then Gapdos is also like not easy to switch into.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of which, what is his Mew? His Mew is also interesting. Is it? I wonder if it's like Mind or is it like the Spikes body press?
I'd imagine Spikes.
Yeah, because like you have a Ghost type in your team, so like it could be Spikes.
Probably Spikes. Well, I mean, Legion doesn't really spin block like versus
Well, it depends what kind of Legion you're running. Right? If it's like there's like agility weakness policy, then it kinda screws over Cyclizar. Anyways, we'll see right now. Oh, it's Rock.
It's Rock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
is this just disguised HO? Is this just like disguised HO? Like, is this like agility weakness policy Legion? This is like Scarf Gap, some like scale shot bulk up Crook, and lead Mew with like rocks and spikes. It could be kind of fun actually. Yeah, that is. But if that is the case, that's actually kind of cool. Like, I like the team then.
The agility. See, the issue is like there are 3 potential Scarfers for Elodin's team. Well, 4 if you count Basque Legion as well.
No, I really doubt Legion being Scarf. It's between Zapdos and Gardevoir.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
I think it would be like something like
okay.
Okay, actually, we'll know now.
What it is.
CB.
First banned.
It's banned. Right. Yeah. Okay, so it's
Scarf. It's either pads or banned.
Yes, I'm assuming you just U-turn into Mew.
That could be fun.
Does Abriel even always U-turn into Mew here? Or,
you could knock.
Or just like U-turn. Well, knock is also good.
Knock will get rid of the Thundy Boots and that. You don't have. I mean, Abriel doesn't really have any hazard control, and I mean she doesn't really have anything for Gapdos as well. So knock is okay, right? I mean, like I don't think you lose anything. Well, okay.
Well, that's what happens when you knock, which is okay.
That's fine though. Fine.
Knock again.
No, dude, just U-turn.
No. At this point, no. You just CC here. Both of you are ass, bro. How the fuck are you guys doing?
No, just U-turn.
The U-turn. Okay, so U-turn is the objective correct play, but knock is the fun play. So go for the fun play.
Bruh, the U-turn is not gonna kill this Crook. Oh,
easy. I told you.
Not worked out.
See, okay, now the players is basically. Yeah, I told you.
I mean, CC was still the best play in my opinion because he got. Well, knock was cracked, but like CC was like better than U-turn.
It just looks really bad for Abriel already.
Yeah. Well, knock. Yeah, the knock was a really good play now. Okay, time to juggle between its coverages.
Psychic. Okay.
Leftovers.
This I actually know the Gudra set. So I'm
Is this
just
just
gonna
your
keep
what you call
quiet.
it? Was it Feligu? You call it now?
No, it isn't.
Are you seriously calling it Philly good? Look, stop.
This is one of the most cracked Gudra sets I've ever seen.
Is it like
Surely it's not
fucking,
Iron Press, right? Well, I mean,
Iron
Iron
Press.
Press isn't that cracked, but it's like I remember Kushalos was running like Flash, Thunderbolt, Iron Press, Hudra.
Flash? Oh, Flash can.
Yeah.
No, they're
No,
running.
Feen,
They're
no,
running the
not-
actual
not H-Man
Flash,
Flash, yeah.
just in case the battle was in a dark cave.
Listen, I just woke up. Shut up. Anyways, Volt Switch was bad. Well, okay, I guess it doesn't.
Is this
have...
curse stock actually? If it's like a wild set, I wonder if it is.
It could be cursed. Let's see.
Okay, what?
Nah, it's generic
Okay,
special.
it just did what it does. Oh, this is
Ah.
guard dog, right? This has to be guard dog.
You think so?
No, not necessarily. This must be.
I mean,
That
this is
drain
also-
was like
Yeah, it
a
was
little
like
weird.
yeah.
Oh, never mind. It's not guard dog.
Yeah, but that drain was a bit like lazy in terms of playing wise. Like, felt like you could gunk or knock that turn.
Maybe Abriel was fearing Earthquake.
I don't know though, because I feel like, well, I mean, I guess she was, but if Elodin loses the Hudra, then Abriel's Scarf Guard kind of just wins.
Yeah. Well, it depends. Terra Poison.
Pressed.
Oh, yeah. That's what I thought. It was like
Mhm.
Spike's body press. Yeah.
Okay, so Crook is there.
Remember when I said it at preview? Yeah.
Basically, now the Legion looks like mad threatening now.
Do you try to go
Uh,
for?
not
actually,
yet,
Hudra is
though,
there.
not
I
yet.
think
There's
Hudra
a
is,
Hudra.
yeah, Hudra does has SPDF.
Do you try to go with your own Crook if it's kill shot?
Yeah, if it's scale shot, I think you can go your own Crook.
Maybe. Yeah, that could work. For
If
now,
it's
'cause,
scale
like,
shot, do you want to risk
Oh.
getting your dice knocked?
I think it's fine.
That's also
I mean,
You really need
You really
Like,
just need the
if you
speed,
need-
like 5
the
dragon hits
remaining mons.
doesn't do
though,
much for
You
you.
don't
Yeah,
care.
they're just a weak to Earthquake, and Thunderous is weakened, so.
Thundi is exactly. Thundi is like what now? 25 in a sense after rocks.
25. Yeah.
But you don't
Okay,
need
bulk
yeah.
up.
Yeah,
There
I
we
think
go.
this is.
There we go.
Yep.
I think
Yep.
the stain was also not good from Abriel. Like
Yeah,
set.
I think
I think you
I'm
kind of
not-
had to go Thundi and then hope that you would just like
miss.
not miss basically. But what happens is you just prevent it from setting up basically like +1.
Well, the point is now that Abriel has to Terra to do this.
Oh yeah, to be fair, like actually, if you were to go hard Thundi on Crook +1, I guess Elodin would just Terra and kind of if he Terras, then Abriel would reverse Terra. I don't know what his Terra is though. If his Terra is like Terra
I mean,
Dragon,
Crook
then
has
that
to
kind
be
of
Terra Dragon, right?
doesn't have to be.
Oh,
I mean, Crook can run a lot of different Terras.
Did he Earthquake? No.
That's
That's
scale
a
shot.
cracked play from Abriel, man. Holy shit. That's such
No,
a good play.
but that was a really good play, honestly.
Yeah, that was a cracked
Like-
play, honestly. Like, I think that was her only play, which was really nice.
Yeah, that was a really nice play. Elodin still looks like mad ahead though, honestly. I mean, she had
If
to
you're
make this play
loading-
to not lose.
If you're loading, you bulk up or skill shot again. You have to trust me.
Bro,
You
do you see the Moonblast pitching on Elodin's team?
Oh, what?
It's Crook.
Okay. Okay.
Did he
that
need to
works.
do it this turn?
I don't think so, because now Thunderous can Thunder Wave.
Yes.
Also, both
No, I mean
Xiao.
it's not +1 though, so you can literally like volt out of this anyway.
Yeah. Well, if it volts out, then the Thunderous
Yeah,
is
it's
dead.
dead. If it volts out, it's dead.
Well, I think it's fine though, no?
I mean,
You can still like, I don't know. I mean, Abriel's team has no like. It's so slow if you think about like the general. Oh, actually, I won't. I don't know if it's slower, but it's kind of slow.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really get it because like, okay, Thunderous.
Actually, does focus kill? Focus probably kills, no?
I doubt it.
No, I'm saying the crook. The Hudra, I know it probably doesn't even like three-shot, but the crook.
Focus does kill because like it OCOs normal crook, right? So it does.
Yeah, that's
double.
true. Yeah, it probably would have killed then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you may as well just get some damage on the Hudra anyway.
Oh,
Okay.
that's so
Or
unfortunate.
not.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. So as I was saying. Oh my God.
Okay.
that
Oh
is
my-
tragic.
Yeah. Okay.
So what's Abriel's way to win this? Because it's pretty dire for her right now.
I mean, you also have to.
I guess Volcanion, but like.
No,
not
Volcano
sure.
gets pressured.
Yeah.
I don't
You
think there's
just
a
have too
way.
many threats. The issue with the Abriel's team is like, okay, you have no hazard control. Then either run boot spam
Like
or
this
run
is a
like
free.
a really.
This is a free Legion. Too.
Is it?
Yeah, or you could
Yeah.
you could just go crook as well, or you could go whatever. Like even
No,
Gapdos is.
Because Earthquake is still threatening, and you have Healing Wish in the back if you need it. Yeah, Legion is free.
Oh,
Okay.
oh.
I wonder if this is
Well,
max
Legion
speed.
is
Actually,
dead.
it probably has too much bulk if it took 44 from Draco.
Yeah, that's bulky.
You sack the you sack the crook here, or you can go. Actually, you could go Hudra, right? Hudra is almost full. Yeah, Hudra. Yeah.
No, like Crook is
Not
just dead. So
I think I would have kept the sack honestly.
for what?
Well,
I think this was a
for later, no.
perfect
You
tactic.
it's in these situations always keeping a sack is always good. I think.
Yeah.
Is this
that's what I
Pax?
used to this turn. But anyways, yeah, we'll see.
Yep, it's AV.
22. What the hell? It's AV as fuck.
Oh yeah, bro. You know it's so funny when I guess that set as well. How do I do it?
Can you do anything? Can you do anything if it's Terra Fairy right now? Like.
If
I mean,
it's
if
it
Terra
Terras-
Fairy, this
or do you-
might be
if it-
tough.
If it tears, you just Healing Wish the Crook with Guard and spam Earthquake.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. If you have to Terra your Volcanion, then no.
Oh no!
Well, it's
I mean,
slow.
that fundamentally doesn't.
Yeah,
matter.
it's lower. This is fine.
That doesn't really matter.
Yo,
honestly.
yo, what if this is flame charge?
I think the Hudra is still like too healthy for flame charge to actually matter.
Yeah, that's good. Oh yeah, set full.
Okay. I'm going guard anyway. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yum.
that was just a dominant play.
Okay. Yeah. Psychic does so much. as well.
Okay, it's over. Unless
Pretty
that
much.
Dozy is like Terra Dark. But even if it's
Even if it's
then-
Terra Dark, I don't think it has enough in the tank to actually win.
Yeah, you just go
Yeah.
Crook with Intimidate.
You would go Crook or yeah. Crook is always the best way to go here. Like a pretty clean, mistake-free game from elodin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Well played.
systemic.
Very well played.
Funny
Yeah,
teams.
I wasn't the biggest fan of Abriel's team. I think elodin.
No,
had a
I don't
nice
really
team.
like the team. Like, if you're running bulky offense, then you either need boot spam or you need a hazard control. And that
It's
team
just
was not.
feels like it's too many like bulky breakers that like to trade, but like it didn't really go well. Like Hudra, Dogi, Volcanion, Rook, right? These are all like guys that like to kind of trade 1v1, and it just felt a little like kind of off otherwise, right? Like you're just putting too many of these bulky breakers on one team when they don't give you the like full backbone, and it's like half a backbone without hazard control. It's a bit but elodin's team was quite kind of cool actually. It was disguised HO, like balls to the wall offense, and the kind of lead Mew was quite nice as well. So yeah, cool game.
Has anyone else got any thoughts they'd like to share?
Not me.
Yeah, I think I've said
Okay.
what's need to be said.
Then that's it for us. We hope to see you with next week's SCL recording.
Okay, welcome back everybody to week 4 of SCL RU coverage. We've made it officially to the midpoint of the season, and also more importantly, we've made it to the last week of the kind of September meta, and with that, shifts have come for October. This week will be the first week played with those October shifts. We say 07 to our former RU soldier Okidogi, who has now been yoinked by UU. And we welcome with open arms 3 new additions to the tier in Rabambi, Alolan Ninetales, and Torkoal. You can have your thoughts on those guys if you want. I know a lot of people in kind of the RU Discord and stuff have been theorymoning and kind of doomering over the kind of extra tools Cheese has gotten with Rabambi Webs or like Alolan Ninetales and Aurora Veil and stuff. Light play is banned in RU, so it's not like it's like a kind of nerf thing with Alolan Ninetales and Aurora Veil, but Aurora Veil is still busted, so we'll definitely see kind of at least some experimentation for that, I hope. And then also Torkoal, another Sun guy, which funnily enough, if we kind of sneak peek, look at Lime's game down here, we did see Sun this week, so who knows? I mean, Torkoal might be making an appearance sooner rather than later in SCL. But with that being said, and we'll talk a little bit more about kind of usage and drops later, let's kind of get right into the recaps. And that opens up with elodin versus Abriel. So, interesting matchup here. You can kind of see a little bit of funny mirroring nonsense here in the top 3 with Crook, Hoodra, and Guard, and then Guard, Hoodra, and Crook. I do like that. I think this looks nice. It appeals to like my the visual side of things for me. And then the bottom 3 though are obviously quite different. elodin took a more hazard stacky approach. This is a kind of the Rocky Helmet Spikes double hazard set Mew, which we've seen a lot. Stresh, I think, brought that week 1 or week 2, and a lot of people have kind of been ripping that set and seeing, some mixed success with that, both here in SCL and in some of the other RU tournaments, Penta, Seasonal, kind of some of the sub-4 MPLs that are going on right now. So, yeah, it's an interesting new set. It's paid out huge dividends here versus Abriel, because if you notice, there are 4 grounded guys on Abriel's team with no removal. So Spikes plus Stealth Rock, ended up being a pretty good investment here. There's a really interesting interaction between this Crocodile and this Guard, actually. You can notice both of these teams don't really have the sturdiest of Guard answers. Volcanion certainly does count, but you catch that with like a Psychic once on the switch, and suddenly it's not really a reliable answer to Guard anymore. Guard even has kind of an easy time switching into Volk at some points, because Trace the Water Absorb means you can't Steam Eruption it, which can definitely buy Guard some free opportunities to do some funny shenanigans, which I think we actually did see a similar thing happen in the game. But yeah, I'm going back to the Crook thing. This is actually a loaded dice bulk up Terra Fire Crocodile, which was really nice. I'm going to actually pull up the replay for this really quick. There's an interesting interaction somewhere in the middle where, right here. So we have Crook versus Crook. We see a bulk up from this Crook. Abriel's Crook goes for the knockoff. You see loaded dice, you assume scale shots coming out, you go into the Guard to kind of prevent that. And get the Intimidate, Trace shenanigans, gotta love the ability. And then this Crook Terrifiers into the Moonblast, eats it for nothing, and then just kills Guard with the Earthquake, and suddenly a huge threat is kind of off the table for elodin. So that was definitely an interesting game to take a look at. So that kind of ended all with elodin coming out on top and improving to 3-1 on the season, which I think leaves him tied for best record in the pool. So you love to see that, especially coming from someone who not a lot of people, and I will not lie, me included, didn't have super high expectations of before the tour. I think it was PR'd 7 or 6. It was something in that. He was in the bottom half for sure. But he's kind of turned that around, turned kind of that narrative around, and is leading the pack now with 3-1. So shout out to elodin. Next up, we have Feliburn versus Fogbound Lake. Feli coming in this week with more than one Argumon on the team. which you definitely love to see. And Fel coming in with the team kind of more reminiscent of Feli's team from last week with some, kind of underrated, underused mons here with Deoxys defense and Fernape. But at the end of the day, Feliburn, with an actual RU team, did walk away with the win this week. Some interesting things from both sides. Feli's tech specifically, I think this was an Assault Vest Magnezone with Magnet Pole, which did end up, and I'll put this in air quotes, trapping the Hisuian Goodra, which didn't actually really trap it, because this was like a leftovers Goodra with Earthquake and blew up the Magnezone. So, yeah, that happened. But yeah, Feli with kind of this Life Orb 3 attacks for Uniclus also put in some big work. Smogon came in with threats, though. I mean, this Infernape ended up being Nasty Plot, like 3 attacks. And I think Noivern got... If you notice on this team, there's one fire resist. It's Noivern. And if we just kind of look at the first turn of this replay, you have Noivern lead, you have Thundurus lead, and what happens turn 1? Noivern gets Thunder Waved, and then kind of later on in the game, eventually when this Infernape gets in, it clicks Nasty Plot, Fire Blast the Noivern gets full parried and dies. So this Infernape, a huge threat. But subsequently, this Reuniclus came in with, whatever psychic move you kind of assume it has, tanks the Fire Blast, forces the Terra, and then once it kind of, forces that Terra out, you have Slitherwing coming in, and it's able to, revenge the thing. And the game goes on from there, which ends up with Feliburn kind of walking away with the win. And, yeah, good stuff for them. Oh, also worth noting, I think this was a Spikes Deoxys, which is kind of interesting to see. Sometimes you see, like, if Deoxys isn't the hazard setter, it's some sort of, like, cosmic power, stored power nonsense, or, like, Calm Mind nonsense. And that also is pretty good. It would have been, like, really good in Feli's team here. But yeah, this just happened to be kind of a hazard setter Deoxys, which got worn down by, a combination of a Sandforce Hippowdon, Boots, Barraskewda not really caring about the hazards and stuff, and then Slitherwing just kind of clicking U-turn and stuff. Even when burnt, which if you look at this team, you're like, who's the burning mod? It's Mimikyu. There's a Will-O-Wisp Mimikyu, which I think Suki does mention down here in the kind of little game description, which was cool. You don't really see Will-O-Wisp on Mimikyu at all. This was the first time I've seen it. And it did get some mileage burning the Slitherwing, although, it didn't matter. Kind of, yeah. I mean, Deoxys had Psychic Noise, and there was an opportunity to kind of close out versus the Slitherwing at one point, but Fogbound didn't click that, so they got back to full, and eventually this Mon, in conjunction with, again, Hippowdon and Scuda, just kind of wore down the Deoxys and gave Feli the game. So, yeah, there's that. Next up, we have Django versus Franklin. So this game is definitely one of the more interesting games of this week for me personally, mostly because of kind of the storyline of how it went. I mean, basically, and this game is a long game, but in short, this is kind of how I saw it go. You have like your early and middle game in which Franklin is killing it, right? He's making great progress with this kind of mixed Salamence. You see Draco, Hurricane, Earthquake does a lot of work versus kind of Django's team. And Thundurus being able to come in and just kind of do huge damage to Slowbro, get out to something like your own Slowbro and scare it out with, threatening potential double Calm Minds is interesting. And as we see from right here, it's a covert cloak Slowbro from Franklin's side, which means in the long term, Django Slowbro is going to have, maybe a somewhat harder time dealing with that. But yeah, we kind of go through this kind of cat and mouse game in the beginning half and kind of middle portions where, Franklin kind of establishes himself an early lead, up 6-4, but now things start to go a little bit awry. This is a Lumberry Okidogi, as you can kind of see here, but even with Lumberry, it ends up getting paralyzed by this Body Slam Jirachi, and then even stays in turn afterwards, I think, and gets Iron Head flinched. So Okidogi's down, and now suddenly the threat of the game starts getting a little bit more questionable. Where Franklin is kind of, he sacks the Okidogi. Eventually, the Thundurus gets sacked, I think, after this Bisharp, which does turn out to be a huge threat. Gets a free setup. Gets the Thundurus out of the way. Moves the Crook out of the way. And kind of, Franklin has to rely on this Terra Fairy Salamence to finally get it out of here. But this kind of sets up I'll call it an unfortunate endgame. Again, this goes on for a while. but ends here. And the game is end. The game, Franklin loses, by the way. I will say that. He loses because of this nonsense. The game just devolved from kind of a one position to Slowbro versus Slowbro. And notably, Franklin's Slowbro is slower, so he can't really stop Django's Slowbro from like slack offense stuff, run speed on your Slowbros. And we kind of do this nonsense for a few turns until, where is it? I think it's this turn. Yeah, crit, Slowbro dies, game is over. And Django, with his Slowbro, has stolen another game. There are definitely a few times now that we've kind of seen Last Mon Slowbro come in with the clutch and kind of seal a game. A little bit of hacks there. Doesn't end up mattering. Could have, but didn't. And yeah, this is kind of just another one of those cases where it's Slowbro versus the world, and Slowbro wins. So yeah, I mean, Django puts the Mount Slowbro Foxes on the board. I think this is their first win in the RU slot this season. Shout outs to them. And yeah, Franklin, on the other hand, I think falls to 2-2 on the season. But yeah, moving on. We have Lime versus Stretch. This game I alluded to a little bit earlier with kind of Lime's funny Sun team versus Stretch's also kind of funny team with a Cresselia and Terrakion, which are mons you don't really see a ton. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting stuff. This game is also kind of funny in a few ways, actually, because while they might look a little bit different, Stretch and Lime's team actually do have a couple similarities that are kind of interesting, notably being both are kind of some form of big momentum-based offense. And we'll see that right here with this Gudra, Draco Meteoring, procking a eject pack, which is very cool, buying a free switch in Gligar. Then Terrakion is like, okay, you do that, I can do that better. Look at me taking close combat, getting the eject pack, and also getting into your own Gligar, which was kind of just a funny interaction. Eventually, Stretch's team actually did prove to be a bit too much for Lime's team, and he did walk away with the W. But yeah, I think it was kind of interesting to see kind of the double eject pack kind of popping out there. This ended up being like a Calm Mind Cresselia. This ended up, being Swords Dance Bisharp, Swords Dance Mimikyu. And yeah, Stretch's offense kind of just, outworked Lime's thing, and he came away with the W. Next up, and finally, we have Rob Jr. versus Behe. Interesting team, or interesting game. Interesting team from Rob, who has been kind of, bringing very safe, kind of conservative picks this tournament. This time, definitely a little bit more adventurous with a Galarian Slowbro and a Registeel, two guys who you don't see a ton per se. And Behe bringing also like a pretty kind of standard 6. Terrakion, a guy who we don't really see a ton, but we did see kind of 2, I think only 2 though, right? Yeah, we did see twice this week, which is, good to see. Good to see Terrakion getting some more representation. Definitely, I think one of the mons that kind of got better with Okidogi leaving the tier. Having a guy who resisted both of your primary stats gone is pretty nice. But back to the game. It was an interesting one. I don't know if we'll upload this, but we did have a second live cover this week, and it was this game. And it was a back and forth match. It was a good match to watch live. Some questionable stuff from both sides. Specifically Behe, there was a turn where he kind of terrored this Empoleon, which was, I think, Stealth Rock, Roost, Knockoff, and Flip Turn. He Terra Fairy'd it, and if you notice something about the set that I mentioned, Stealth Rock, Roost, Knockoff, Flip Turn, it's walled by Volcanion. And Volcanion kind of puts in a ton of work versus this team, since your primary water resist loses to it, enables it actually, and Noivern, as we kind of see, I can just skip to the turn briefly. Noivern, Behe leaves it in to get paralyzed versus Thunderous on one of these turns. And where is it? It's coming up soon. Yeah, so Noivern, Behe leaves it in to get paralyzed, and then volted on, which kind of ends up, leading on later in the game where Volk can kind of just muscle its way through. It happens to be Taunt Volk, so after Steam Eruption, a Taunt, and 2 Flamethrowers, bye-bye Noivern, you missed a Hurricane, which is very unfortunate, but it is still Hurricane, and that is a paralyzed Noivern, so the odds aren't the greatest. We see a great Terra here by Rob, actually, too, and getting just like a huge chunk down on this Thunderous with that Steam Eruption from Volk. And, the rest of Behe's team is kind of Volk food. Not to mention, you still have to deal with the rest of, kind of Rob's guys in this, like, Scarf Crook, to deal with like Thunderous, you have to deal with Slowbro still, this Terrakion drops from 73 to a Grass Knot, and I mean the game kind of quickly devolves into Rob just kind of picking one here with Volk and cleaning up with Crook and Slowbro and stuff. So yeah, shout outs to Rob. He improved to I think 3-1 on the season as well. And Behe falls to 2-2, I want to say. We can actually quickly look down here where Suki has very graciously put together kind of the full standings for the season. And yeah, Behe's actually 1-3, so that's neat. But you can kind of see how the season has shaken out. Elodin, Rob, and Stresh kind of leading the pack at this point with a 3-1 record. Elodin, if you notice, has the 3K, the cheapest in the pool, beyond Damien, who was a sub that 1 week. But yeah, I mean, Elodin, the cheapest of the starters, leading the pack, which is, you'd love to see that happen. Rob, also a relatively cheaper pick, and also leading the pack versus some of these kind of higher numbers we see down here. So yeah. Shout outs to Breakers, Islanders, and Terrors for kind of taking an early lead as we head into the mid-season. We look at some of the usage stats too. I do want to call out a couple mons, namely being Thunderous. We saw Thunderous at 6 usages this week with a 33% win rate. And then if we look at kind of the season totals, you also see Thunderous kind of breaking away a little bit, 4 uses more than the second place, which is Crocodile. Maybe a little bit more of a modest win rate, but the kind of usage can, tells a story about how much people are valuing Thunderous and kind of what he brings to the table. The reason I say this is because we are currently, as RU, undergoing a suspect test for Thunderous. So it is interesting to kind of see how he has been making waves amongst the SCL gamers. But yeah, that's kind of everything I have for y'all this week as far as your SCL coverage. Check back in next week. We'll have another live game and then also kind of this recap at the end. And at that point, we'll have a week of this new meta kind of in the books. So it'll be interesting to see how these teams kind of change up, if at all. If we see any more cheese, any more offense, maybe a little more sun, who knows? But yeah, you have that to look forward to this week. And for now, I will be signing off. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't, and kind of keep checking into our YouTube for any kind of miscellaneous RU content. And we'd love to see it. Peace.